Hello, YouTube. Luigi here with another alleged loom shot. Boy, actually the hands don't look bad. There's these tiny little pockets on these tiny little indices. I always have to start out with one of these because I don't know how to, bring them in later. It's okay. I only have one watch that's got decent loom. And that's fine because I don't really rely on loom. What I do in the dark is this. Alexa, time.
The time is 6:58 p.m.
I hope you heard that. Alexa, thank you.
Of course.
Of course. All right, what do we have here? Yeah, what do we have here? This is a Swiss legend Neptune. Okay, now this is a special Swiss legend Neptune. It's a ceramic one, meaning what they call the spare tire that runs around the case, which is usually silicone, the same silicone as the strap, acts as a shock absorber, protects the workings in the case, the movement and all that. This one is ceramic, and this little cabochon here is ceramic, and the bezel is ceramic. And even though it's about the same color, the dial is mother of pearl. So this is what they call a ceramic Neptune. Now apparently, Swiss Legend had great success with the Neptune series, and they came anywhere from 40 millimeter to 52 millimeter. 52 is like wearing a dinner plate on your wrist. And they also came in an incredible number of variety of colors. You could get an orange strap and a black and gold dial and bezel, and a yellow with the black is really good too. They just make a million different colors. This white would not have been my first choice, but I had a million of these Neptunes on my watch list, on my wish list, on Amazon, my watch list on eBay, and this one was relisted at a lowered price, and I got it for $35. Came with a new battery. All right, the Neptune, the ceramic Neptune by Swiss Legend. It's a quartz watch, okay? And these are a lot of fun. I don't think they're made anymore. I'm not even sure Swiss Legend is in business anymore. Let's talk about it. It is, if you measure the inner tube, I call it the inner tube. People call it the spare tire, but spare tires have treads on them. This is so smooth, I call it the inner tube. If you measure the diameter of the inner tube, it's 43.7 millimeters, and that's close enough to be called a nominal 44. If you measure the bezel, this coin edge bezel, it's exactly 44. I'm sorry, it's exactly 40. Okay, 44 out to out on the inner tube, 40 millimeters on the bezel. Mother of pearl face with great numerals. Now here's another thing. They come in another dial configuration called the diver dial. It has no Arabics on it whatsoever. It's got triangles at 12, 3, 6, and 9, and dots, big dollops of loom indices everywhere else. And it's, to tell you the truth, I prefer it. This isn't what opened up for me as such a great deal, but I don't regret capturing this at the price I got. I mean, what the heck. But they do make another dial style, is what I'm saying. This one has an unusual feature called a canteen crown protector. It's on a hinge. A lot of canteen crown protectors are on a chain that just dangles. This one's on a hinge, so you screw this off. It hinges back, and there's your crown. Now, the crown is, by necessity, this skinny little stub for this to go over it and protect it. Now, you see, I don't know if you can see, there's a little bevel, little convexity on the bottom of this thing and a little concavity in the ceramic. And I think if you tighten it down reasonably, snug it up, I think that's supposed to give you some kind of water resistance. It only comes with 100-meter water resistance, and that's fine. The truth is, most of these diver watches, the bezel is there, let's be honest, as a decorative and design element. It's not, most people don't go scuba diving, let's face it. But the bezel has its uses. You can use it as an elapsed timer or a countdown timer. It's not entirely worthless. It's not just phony decoration. So you don't have to be a diver to enjoy a diver's bezel. Now this has a 60 click, here, 60 click unidirectional bezel. I want to line this up right. It's hard for me to see in the camera. That is neither loose nor stiff. Remember, it's a previously owned watch. The first previously owned watch I've ever bought. So it's hardly loose, but it's hardly stiff, and there's absolutely zero back bounce on it at all. That would have driven me nuts. I really like the fact that they stay in position once you get them there. It has a white silicone buckle, and if this were not a ceramic Neptune, the inner tube would have been the same white silicone. They always match, and they come in fun colors. Okay, and it has a signed buckle, Swiss legend. And what else? It's got Swiss legend embossed on the sides of both sides of the strap. I don't know if you can see that. And I have to tell you, I have a 7.5-inch wrist. There's only 2 holes left on this once I put it on, and that barely catches the 2 rubber keepers, silicone keepers, on the back side. The quartz movement is claimed to have been made in Switzerland. Reviewers say it may have some quartz components, but they're kind of doubtful of that. Let's take a look at the back, see what else it says. The back is kind of scuffed up, which I find unusual, if not impossible, because the curvature on this belt, you can't lay it down on that back. So maybe when the seller put in a new battery, he scuffed it up a bit. It's scratched, and who cares? Who looks at it? So it says, 100 millimeter water resistance, quartz movement, Swiss made, high grade ceramic. I'm reading from a sheet of paper because I can't really read what's in front of me. And you can see it is a stainless steel screw down case back. Okay, let's go back to the dial for a minute. This is a typical complaint of all Neptunes, irrespective of size. It's got a really, really tiny date window. Okay, and it's at 4 o'clock. I don't mind them at 4, but the truth is when they do put them at 6 o'clock, it maintains the symmetry of the dial. Okay, this is asymmetrical. I get it. That doesn't bother me that's asymmetrical, but the tiny, tiny size of it does. You see how the hands are skeletonized with only the loom at the very tips? And you saw the loom shot. It wasn't that great. It's got the typical diver's triangle at the 12 position of the bezel, but there's no loom up there. That's another thing. Most of the bezels, just so you can get oriented down deep sea diving, most of the bezels, the triangle at the 12, has a generous amount of loom on it. So this is about it. The Swiss-made ceramic bezel. It's a fun watch, and this may not be my only Neptune. I got this at a real deal, $35 plus 6. There's a million used ones out there, and every once in a while you can find one that's new in box. Previously owned, but, quote, never worn. In other words, the guy owned it, but he kept it in the box. So those are more expensive, obviously. This one I just happen to have fallen into a real good deal. And I'm having fun with this watch. It's a fun watch. Now, white would not have been my first choice of color, but this is the deal that presented itself to me, and I just jumped on it. Okay? That's it, people. The ceramic Neptune 44. 44 out to out on the inner tube. Bezel diameter is 40. Now, I have to say this. Because there's the inner tube, and then because there's the bezel, you'd think the face would appear, the dial would appear small with all this other extraneous stuff around it. I don't think that's true at all. I think this is a generous dial. It's legible. sometimes in certain lights, these skeletonized hands with their seemingly light colored dollop of lume against the white mother of pearl, there's not a lot of contrast here. Sometimes in certain lights, it's not a quick read in terms of legibility, in terms of readability. Okay, sometimes you have to get it out of the light to where, oh yeah, now I can read it. That's not a big deal either. I don't mean to be nitpicking here. At this price, I think I got a hell of a deal. All right, everybody, take good care. God bless you. I love you all. Bye-bye.